Hello, my regulars, and welcome new listeners to the Reese on the Regular podcast. Today, I am bringing on Sujin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sujin. I am a 22-year-old based in the Boston area, and I like to dabble in content creation.
I am super excited to have Sujin on because I like to very much dabble in content creation, but I feel like you're going more full-fledged at it. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about like what else you like to do, things like that. But I am bringing Sujin on today to talk about content creation, building her brand specifically. So I'm really excited to dive into that. But I do want to start with just having you explain like what else you're doing outside of content creation for everyone.
Yeah, of course. I just graduated from UMass this past May with a psychology degree on the pre-health track. So I'm currently working in the psych emergency department at a hospital in Boston, and I'm planning on continuing my studies this fall at Northeastern to get my nursing degree.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that. That's so exciting. Today, we are going to focus on that content creation portion, but I am curious like where the journey all started and how being a psych major, getting into nursing and all these other things, you were even inspired to do content.
Yeah, so I would say that I've really liked using a camera ever since I was a little kid. We just had like a family camera lying around, so I would just pick it up and take pictures of just about anything and everything. And then in middle school, I started posting those photos on Instagram, like as, I don't want to say a joke, but nothing serious.
Right.
And then somehow my account started gaining more traction through like the Tumblr styled photos. Mm-hmm. And then I've just continued since.
So at what point would you say it really like took off for you?
I would say in 9th grade when Reebok as well as Toms started reaching out to me, that's when it started to take off a bit.
That's so cool. See, I did look into like what brands you've worked with and kind of like your creator profile and things and noticed that like you started working with those brands a while back, but I really did think at first that this was just something for you like in college. So that's really cool that you started like in middle school because I feel like it's now becoming more of a trend. So that's interesting that it, kind of started from there.
Yeah, no, I think I really lucked out.
How was your family? How were your friends? Like, how did they kind of react to you taking that path?
I think my family was a bit shocked at first just because I think I wasn't even 16 at that point, just getting packages from brands. And so they were a little skeptical, but they've been supportive throughout.
That's awesome. Do you have any other friends that do it too? Or is this kind of like everyone looks to you and they're like, oh, she's the brand girl, like in the friend group?
I have a good amount of friends that have like gotten into it recently. Mm-hmm. And I was also able to meet a lot of people through like the content creation community as well, so that's been really neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk more specifically about your brand. What content would you say resonates most with your audience?
People like lifestyle content as well as fashion content when it comes to my audience. I've been trying to find a good balance between like what I want to post versus like what I feel like I should post.
Right.
Just because in terms of engagement, when I do like try on hauls or unboxings, that does better, but I don't want to just be known for that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What kinds of brands do you enjoy working with when it comes to fashion?
I really like working with Adore Me. They have a lot of cute like lingerie pieces. Usually I'll wear like a slip or something less scandalous because I don't really love to post scandalous photos online. Yeah. I really liked working with shoe brands as well. Other clothing brands I can think of, Halara. I love their activewear line. Mm-hmm. That's like my go-to when it comes to shorts. So honestly, I feel like all the clothing brands that I've worked with, I wear like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. That's super important. I mean, it's so much easier to be promoting brands that like you truly love and that you're wearing every single day. You can post more like authentic casual photos and throughout the day too versus just doing all the unboxing stuff, which I do know people love to watch like try-ons, things like that. Yeah. So it is also about like giving your audience what they want. But that is tough. Like how would you say you find the balance of like just catering to your audience versus staying authentic to yourself?
Recently, I've been implementing like a content calendar where I actually started this like a month ago, so it's really recent.
That's cool though.
But I try to tailor like 60% of my content towards my audience and then the 40% what I want to post so that there's kind of like a balance.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it still.
That's cool though. A
Yeah.
content calendar. I love that. I feel like that's something you could totally promote too, which is awesome. Like I feel like a lot of content creators would get used to that. In terms of some of those brands you listed off and just other brands you've worked with, how do you go about that decision process of like what brands you work with, and like do you ever turn brands down, or do you kind of just like give them all a shot type of thing?
I don't exactly want to be a walking ads page, so I do end up turning down some brand deals. I do think it's really important to stay true to your values when it comes to picking brands. A couple months ago, I got reached out to by a brand that is a fast fashion company, but also is known for using child labor.
Okay.
And what got me is that they offered to pay a month's worth of rent in a 30-second video. And so I was tempted, I'm not gonna lie.
Of course.
Because that's like what the equivalent of me working a couple 12-hour shifts at the hospital.
Right.
But I ultimately decided to turn it down just because I feel like if I'm looking at like the highest version of myself, I wouldn't be selling myself for just some money.
That's really hard in this space in general, because I feel like a lot of people do get caught up in the money and get caught up in just like, you know, working with all sorts of brands versus brands they actually value. So I think that's really a good way for you to kind of build your brand specifically, sticking with things that align with your values versus just like building up, oh, how many brands can I work with and like get myself out there type of thing. Any brands that you like did not ever expect to reach out to you that you're like, wow, that's so cool?
Ooh, there are a couple.
Yeah.
So I loved working with Yogibo. I never thought they would reach out to me.
Yeah.
Just because I'd gone with my friends to the mall before to just like pick up the bean bags with them.
Right.
So that was a dream. Also, there's this Korean skincare brand called SK2 where they have like facial serums.
Oh, cool.
And I, like, as a little girl, for a gift for my mom, like I would save up my money to get her like the skincare product. And so it was a dream kind of having that sent to me so I could just share the product with my mom. Yeah.
That's so cute. And then in terms of Yogibo, what was like, did they just like send you a Yogibo?
Yes. So they sent me 2 products in exchange for a video, which I thought was super neat.
That's cool. What were the products? Because obviously we all know the typical Yogibo. I know they have other things though. Like,
so I got sent the Yogibo Max in a nice like indoor fern color, which is like a light sage green.
yeah.
And then a Yogibo like armrest.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like so fun too. Just like trying out different things. I'm sure even with like the facial serum, like, did they send you things that you hadn't used before?
No, it was nothing new, but I was okay with that.
Yeah, I know. Just more of what you love. That's perfect. So I don't know if anyone on here has heard the term UGC, but that's like exactly what you're doing, user generated content. So can you actually break down like what that means and how that's different from just like regular content creation?
Yeah, of course. I would group user generated content into one category and then like being an influencer into one category. Both fall under content creation. It's just that user generated content is more organic. You don't really need a following, and you also don't need to post any of that content onto social media, like any of your channels. And so even if you have like 0 followers, you can still create content for companies, and they'll often use your content for marketing. So if you're scrolling through Instagram, you might see someone talking about a product, but you might not know exactly like who they are. You might not be able to like find their profile, but I feel like it's more accessible to everyone to get into, and it's still a great way to make money.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what was the process like getting into it?
So I would say I didn't take like the traditional route just because I kind of gained a following first and then I got the UGC opportunities. If you're trying to get into UGC, I would recommend that you look at other users who have done it before and create like a portfolio of some sort so that brands can reach you if your content like aligns with what they're looking for. And also there are a lot of platforms where you can apply to these opportunities even if you don't have a following, so that you can create content for different brands.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it seems like a pretty like simple process, you'd say, for people interested.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How later into doing content did you get into UGC specifically?
I would say in the last 1.5 years or so.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Do you see anything like up and coming with UGC, or do you feel like you're kind of just like cruising along the same path with that as you've been over the past like year?
I honestly might go more towards UGC.
Mhm.
I like having like my own page where it's almost like a little digital diary for me.
Yeah.
So I want to focus more on like building community rather than like posting ads for people to see.
Right.
So I might dabble in UGC separately and
Okay.
focus on that and do less advertisements like on my main page.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So kind of keep it off of your main page.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
cool. That's cool. I'm sure a lot of this is gate kept from people. So I want you to share like what platforms can people go on to find these brands?
There are so many platforms out there. And as you mentioned, I feel like people don't like to share them just because you're kind of fighting for the opportunities.
Of course.
But I would say that there are a bunch. There's like Aspire, Mavely. I might be butchering some of these names.
That's okay. I'll do my research. I'll list them here for everyone.
Okay, perfect. There's also Skeepers, Coley. The list goes on. If you reach out to me, like I can also
Yeah, for sure. We'll give you her info as well for more questions. What brands have been most like meaningful, impactful to you?
I've really liked working with personalized gift brands
Mhm.
like Canvas Pop or Personalization Mall, where they create little gifts that are like personal and you can just give them out to like the people you love. I think those are my favorite brands to work
That's
with.
awesome too, because I'm sure you're getting packages left and right. And so like keeping all the products is super nice, but getting things that you can like share with others is super cool too. Like she's so sweet. She literally came in here with like a whole gift goodie bag for me. I was like, wow, thank you. I feel like that's the path I personally would love to take, is like working with these brands and then like being able to share them with people, give them as gifts, like you mentioned with your mom's skincare and stuff like that. So that's where it becomes more like meaningful to do a like side hustle like this, where you're able to like give back to other people too and share pretty cool products as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've also really enjoyed tabling on campus while I was in college, just working with brands.
That's awesome. I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah, and actually you can get into that pretty easily too. Like if you're in college, brands are always looking to partner with kids just so that they can get more exposure.
Yeah.
So I worked with Kodiak Cakes and I had a couple of my friends help out and we just handed out samples so that people
That's
could
fun.
get free like protein bars and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm sure people on campus loved that.
Yes.
That's cool.
For
Have you
sure.
done any others on campus?
Besides Kodiak Cakes. Oh, I did Bearpaw for
Oh, cool.
a year. So I did it for 2 semesters, which was really cool. And then I know some of my friends have gotten into other brands like Glow Recipe and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen them on campus as well. Would you say that like you kind of were that inspiration for your friends on campus, or was this something they were already looking into?
I would say that I definitely dragged them into it.
Yeah.
But I think they had a good time.
Of course. How could they not? As fun as this all sounds, I'm sure that sometimes creativity is a little bit low. There's burnout, with posting consistently and posting creative stuff. So how do you feel like you bring yourself out of that? Do you have any like just activities you like to do or like tips in terms of like getting yourself motivated?
I would say that if I'm burnt out or like mentally not doing super well, then I try to like take a step back from social media, and I recommend like others to do the same. But when it comes to posting consistently, I would say that having a content calendar this past month has really helped. Someone from the Meta team on Instagram had reached out to me on over email just to set up like a one-on-one to help me out with my account, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
And she recommended posting at least 3 reels in a week as well as 2 static posts. So I've been working on that. Haven't been meeting that goal every single week.
Yeah.
But I think it's just really important to not overthink what you're posting. It's just like a silly little account at the end of the day.
Exactly. I have a tough time with that too, just like with posting on, my account. It is a balance of like, I love to post and put all the fun things out there and keep it silly and fun. And especially now with it being summer, I feel like there's so many more opportunities to post fun things. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that loves to like social media detox and like live in the moment. So it is really a hard balance. And I do feel like making it more of like a routine with a calendar could totally be helpful for people who like routine, and then kind of putting in their time for you to have downtime versus like it always kind of being on your mind and feeling like it's like taking over your life and you're not really like living in the moment type of thing. So I know you said in the like very beginning that like going to some of these events you're feeling imposter syndrome, but I want you to talk more on that in terms of just content creation overall, like where you felt that and then like how you've been able to cope with it as well.
Whenever I'm like 2 seconds away from clicking the post button. I'm always like, oh, do I really want to post this?
Yes.
But I think you just have to not overthink it. It's a little tricky when you have people that you know in real life like following you for some reason. I have people from like my middle school or high school that I just haven't really talked to in a while like following me, but they're not really exactly interacting with any of my posts, so they're kind of just there. And obviously like I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and I appreciate them supporting me, but it can be a little scary just because like they know like an old version of me and they don't know like who I am.
Right.
But I think you can't let the fear of how like others might perceive you stop you from like just living your life, because you're going to be perceived like no matter what you do.
And I'm sure some of like the biggest creators, even more so, have those fears too. They're putting so much out there. They have so many eyes on them. And you kind of have to just like reverse look at it as like, oh, when I look at their content, I'm just like so amazed. And I'm like, wow, like that's super cool. They're living a really cool life. I feel like a lot of people have the fear of people looking at them and saying like, oh, like why are they posting this? What are they doing? But I feel like, you know, people follow you because they like to see the things you put out there. And of course there's going to be people who have their opinions, but it's like if you're posting things that you truly love and working with brands you truly value, you know, you shouldn't have any other feelings towards that. You should just kind of put that stuff out there. But of course it is always hard to like hit post. Sometimes you get in your head. Who would you say has been like your biggest support system throughout creating content?
I feel like I get my support from many different groups. So I want to say in terms of like my job, like working in this psych hospital, that's always acted as a reminder of like how important it is to like take care of my health, like my mental health and my physical health. And so you can see like sprinkles of that in my content, but then you can also see like my friends and family, they've always like supported me throughout, as well as just like people who are part of my community like through Instagram and whatnot that I might not have like ever met before, but they've like supported me throughout the years.
Yeah.
Does that
so
answer
cool.
your question?
Yeah, totally. Because I do also feel like I have a lot of people who listen to the podcast or who follow me, and they're, you know, not anyone like friends, family, like that I know super well, but they're just like constant supporters, and they'll reach out with little things that just like kind of push you and keep you going. Like they really notice and congratulate you, and that's almost cooler sometimes than like when your family congratulates you, because they're always going to be there for you. So just seeing, you know, those people who catch you by surprise is pretty cool. When it comes to working in the hospital, I think that's super cool that helps you, like reminds you that mental health is super important, and tying that into your content creation as well. Have you found it difficult to balance that with content creation? I'm sure, like, I don't know how full-time of a schedule you're working there, but how have you been able to balance all of that too?
I would say on days that I work 12-hour shifts, I don't really post that much in terms of content, and I can't really shoot in the emergency room.
Of course.
So on those days I kind of just take a step back, but then because I'm working 12-hour shifts, I still have like 4 days off. Yeah. 4 or 5 days off, so it hasn't been too bad.
That's awesome. One of my good friends works a similar schedule, and it's like grind time is pretty tough, but then you get your days off, so I think that's really nice. Would you say, aside from like the mental health perspective of things, like has anything else from that experience been like incorporated into your content, or do you really kind of just keep it lifestyle focused?
I would say that I keep it pretty lifestyle focused. I do try to emphasize the importance of like self-care and also just like movement. I really think movement is healing.
Yes.
So I think I push for that a lot in my videos. Maybe it comes off as like too strong.
You've given some great tips in terms of like brands to work with, where to go, the mindset for a creator. I am excited to hear what's next for you. What do you anticipate? Like, what are you most excited for creating in the next few months?
I have a bunch of trips lined up, and so I'm super excited to post travel content. And
that's always the best, right?
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that. And then I'll be starting a 3-year grad program in the fall. So I kind of want to bring everyone along with me like throughout that journey.
For sure. I want to hear more about both. So where are you traveling?
So I'm headed to Canada soon, and then Portugal and Switzerland.
Where in Portugal?
Lisbon.
Oh my God.
Have you been?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Did you go abroad?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I
This
wish I
is
did.
this is your time now. You get to go abroad.
Mhm.
I went to Lisbon. It was amazing. It's perfect like post grad, fitting in all like the dream travel destinations.
Yeah.
What kind of content are you hoping to create while you're traveling? Just like kind of taking everyone along type of thing?
Yes, and I do really want to get into YouTube long form videos.
Yes.
I've been so scared to do that, but I'm ready now.
Do you pretty much film all of your content like on a camera, or do you do stuff on your phone?
I definitely do most of it on my phone. I've just recently started using my DJI Osmo 3. I believe that's what
Mhm.
it's called. It's like a little vlogging camera.
Because I was going to say, yeah, like I do most like when I post things on my phone, but I feel like for vlogging, like if you use a camera, that's like so perfect to just bring around on vacation, vlog everything.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to watch that stuff back too. I know it's kind of like scary to put that stuff out there, and it seems like it's like a whole other step outside of like what you typically post. But like I feel like you'd totally appreciate looking back and watching those vlogs, so that's pretty cool. And then in terms of the grad program, what kind of content are you hoping to bring from that?
Maybe just like day in the life videos, as well as just showing like the reality of studying and like just the struggles I might go through. I feel like it's pretty universal, but people tend to like shed light on just like the happy parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that will be helpful too for not only like current students in like undergrad, but even people who are considering doing grad programs. I know it's like a big decision for people once they graduate school. Like, do I want to do more schooling, especially if it's something they really could benefit from? So I feel like that'll be awesome for you to kind of like show the behind the scenes of like, okay, this is what you're getting yourself into, but also like a motivation of like, you guys can totally do this too. It's pretty worth it. So that's exciting. Aside from longer YouTube videos, are there any other platforms you're hoping to explore, or like other avenues in those platforms that you're willing to take on?
I'm planning to cross post on TikTok and also YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
I feel like everyone should do that. It is a little scary for me to post on TikTok just because I feel like my coworkers can also see my videos.
Right.
I don't know how like the algorithm works, but for some reason my TikTok videos seem to like spread more than Instagram.
Yes.
But I gotta remind myself it's just like a silly little account.
Of course. Do you currently post on TikTok at all?
Yes, I like just started posting.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because that's something that like going back to, I love to digital detox. I got rid of TikTok a while ago,
Oh, nice.
but getting into like a creator path, it's like, okay, you need to be with the times, and like most of your traction is gonna probably come from TikTok right now.
Yeah.
So it's something I've been like kind of debating with, of like putting my stuff on TikTok too. So that's interesting, because I thought for some reason you were like always on TikTok, but how recently would you say you like started putting content on there?
I would say in the past like 2 months or so I started
okay.
posting more frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it almost feels like I'm starting like my creator journey from scratch on that platform.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to have that opportunity to start from scratch, because like obviously you're in a different place now than when you started your content back in like 5th grade. So that's cool to have a new platform. Would you ever like cross create with Instagram and TikTok? Or do you want to kind of keep those separate in terms of like reels and TikToks and things like that?
Do you mean like posting the same content on both?
Yeah.
I think that would be my main goal. To
I
keep
feel like
both.
most TikTok creators, like their main focus is TikTok, but then they put their stuff on reels as well to like have stuff on Instagram. So I was just curious, like if you would keep those the same or like keep them entirely different.
I did think about that. I think for now I would keep them the same,
Mm-hmm.
but I do really like posting running content and whatnot, and I feel like that's very niche. So I did think about just focusing on a TikTok account that like focuses on running.
For running?
Yeah.
That could be cool for the YouTube videos too, like
Yeah.
vlogging. Like, do you have any like races in the books, or?
No, I did one this past April, but I'm looking to sign up for another one in the fall.
Yeah, that would be cool. Was it like a half, a full?
Yeah, it was a half marathon
That's awesome.
in Rhode Island.
That's so cool. Ugh, like my dream. I wish. I need to train. But and another upcoming question. Are there any like collabs that you're planning on, or giveaways or things that the fans should keep an eye out for?
I have some exciting campaigns coming up that I'm working on with two of my favorite brands. I've worked with O Organics before as well as American Tourister, so you can be on the lookout for that. But I guess more excitingly, I will be hosting a summer giveaway. I've meant to post it a little earlier. I just got a little caught up in my travels and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that together sometime like this week.
That's so cool. So that's all based on like just PR that you've like taken little bits from and giving away like a big basket essentially?
Yes, but also I'll just pick up some of my favorite items that I want to share with my followers.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
You don't have to share details. We can keep it surprise, but like what are like the terms for the giveaway?
It would just be to like the video, tag some friends in the comments, and make sure you're following me, and that's about it.
And then just like one lucky winner.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So lots of travel,
3-year
grad program, and lots of collabs and giveaways. I mean, I don't know what else there could be. That's super exciting. I want to wrap things up just giving some final advice to people who have maybe thought about content creation, or maybe this is just like sparking an interest for them. What is one piece of advice that you would give to someone if they decided to start their creator journey today?
Just go for it. I feel like it's really easy to get stuck in like the little details. If you create a video and you want to post it, just post it. And don't just archive it because it's not doing well.
Yes.
You never know with like the algorithm. I feel like
posting for yourself and what you value versus for the views and the audience. I mean, of course, that's what you're working towards as a content creator. That's such a great point of like not just taking down posts because they aren't doing well and getting engagement, because it really just takes that like one post to kind of ramp things up like that. I'm sure you can think back to like certain posts where you're like, wow, that did really well, and like it kind of took off from there.
Something someone said to me that really helped me out was imagining like the interaction that you get as like real people. I feel like sometimes when you get like 2,000 like likes or something, it might not seem like a lot to some people, but if you imagine that as like 2,000 people interacting with your post, that is a ton. Like even like 10 people cheering you on, I feel like is a lot.
Of course, yeah. Putting that into like a real life perspective. If we had an audience sitting out here of like 2,000 people, I'd be like, this is amazing. Or even 10. We have no one really here today. Just like being proud of the small wins, because that's like literally where the growth is going to start. You can't really, unless you get super lucky, you don't really usually start with like being up top, and if you do, then you just keep going up from there too. So don't really focus on like how small it starts. Just know that like you're getting into it, and like be proud of that. Just it takes a lot of courage to put things out there, like we were saying. So just being proud that you were able to hit post on something, I think is like such an accomplishment in itself. I am curious, if you were to go back on your creator journey to like day one when you started super long ago, what is like one main piece of advice that you would definitely give yourself looking back?
Don't be afraid of like exploring and trying out new types of videos. You are your worst critic, and so really just trusting yourself and taking that leap of faith. I feel like it's easy to overthink things, but like I mentioned before, at the end of the day, it's really not that serious. It's just your little life. So just say yes to opportunities and you'll figure it out.
Yes, that is the only way to know like where this is going to go. So just say yes if these opportunities come up, or if this is inspiring you, just go for it. I'm super excited to keep, tuning in with your stuff, the giveaway, all these things that are coming up. I want you to share with everyone where they can find you, all your socials and things like that.
Oh yeah, you can find me on @Dazzology. It's DAZZOLOQY.
And is that for all across platforms? Awesome. Keeps it easy. So guys, please go show her some love. Continue to show the podcast some love as well. I had so much fun learning about this. Now I'm like just ready to go do all my research on UGC. But thank you again so much for coming. This was so much fun.
This was amazing. Thank you for having me, Reese.
All right, guys, keep on listening, keep sharing the love, and we will see you next time. Bye.